Hi, I'm George Woodbury from College of the Sequoias in Visalia, California, and in this video we're going to go over how to solve equations using the square root property. We use this property when we have a square equal to a number. Let's say we have x squared is equal to a. We can take the square root of both sides of the equation to solve it. When we take the square root of the side containing the constant, we have to include the plus or minus sign in front of it because there's two different numbers that when squared can give you x. Either a positive number or a negative number. So we have to include both of those with that plus or minus sign. That ends up getting us the solution x equals plus or minus the square root of whatever a was. Now, when do we use this property? We use it whenever we have one term that is a square containing the variable, and then all the other terms are constant terms, like the three examples that are on the screen. In problem 3, x squared equals 18 has one square, x squared. Everything else is a constant term, 18. Same thing for number 4, x squared equals negative 25. Finally, in problem 5, I have one square, x minus 4, quantity squared, and then two constant terms, minus 15 and 13. When we have one variable term squared, we can use the square root property. For problem 3, begin by taking the square root of both sides. The square root of x squared equals plus or minus the square root of 18. The square root of x squared is simply x, so that's how we get the square away from the x. And on the right-hand side, we have to simplify the square root of 18. Notice that 18 is 9 times 2, and we know the square root of 9, so that becomes 3 times the square root of 2. If we were to list these in a solution step, we want to separate these out. One is the negative solution, 3 square root of 2. The other is the positive solution, 3 square root of 2. Problem 4, x squared equals negative 25. Same idea, but this time, when we take the square root of the right-hand side, we're taking the square root of a negative number. That means we're going to get an imaginary solution, or two imaginary solutions. The square root of x squared is just x, equals plus or minus. Because there's a negative inside the square root, we know that I is going to be part of the solution, and we know the square root of 25 is 5, so it's going to be plus or minus 5i. Again, if we write a solution set, negative 5i, positive 5i. Example 5's got a little bit more to it. X minus 4 quantity squared minus 15 equals 13. The first thing that's different is that we need to collect all the constant terms on the right-hand side, and we can do that by adding 15 to both sides of the equation. X minus 4 squared equals 28. Now we can take the square root of both sides of the equation. Square root of x minus 4 quantity squared equals plus or minus the square root of 28. On the left-hand side, the square root of that square leaves us with just x minus 4. On the right-hand side, we need to simplify the square root of 28, and we don't know that exactly, but we do know that 28 is 4 times 7, and we know the square root of 4 is 2. So this is plus or minus 2 square root of 7. We can finish this by adding 4 to both sides of the equation to isolate x. And on the right-hand side, we're going to take that positive 4 and put it in front of that plus or minus sign. So 4 plus or minus 2 square root of 7. If we write this in a solution set, the first solution is 4 minus 2 root 7. The second is 4 plus 2 root 7. Again, we want to use this approach whenever we have one term that contains a variable that's squared, and then all the other terms are constant terms. Isolate the square, take the square root, remember the plus or minus sign, and then simplify from there.